Welcome to this presentation that I've titled Why Grammar Matters More Than You Think, also known as I saw a funny tweet, thought a bunch of nerdy thoughts, had a small existential crisis, and decided to share it all with you. By me, Annie Sand. So it all started back in March. Remember March? Those days when we thought we'd all socially distance for a couple of months and then be able to go about our summers, vacations, and sporting events included? Yeah. Well, back then, this tweet made its way around the corners of the internet that I also frequent. And it went like this. Anyone else feel like life is being written by a fourth grader right now? And there was a virus, and everyone was scared. And then the world ran out of toilet paper. Yeah, and then there was no school for like a month, and then it snowed. Well, I read this tweet and I thought, ah, I know why this feels like it's being written by a fourth grader. It's something called parataxis, which is a fancy grammar word that has to do with conjunctions, or the words that we use to link pieces of information together. Now, there are two types of conjunctions. There are coordinating conjunctions, like these, and there are subordinating conjunctions, like these. And there are a lot of subordinating conjunctions. This isn't even close to a complete list. But the point is that different types of conjunctions tell us different things about the relationships between pieces of information in a sentence. So if you look at that list over on the right, you see that some of those conjunctions tell us something about time, that one piece of information happened before, after, or as soon as another one did. They might also tell us something about compare and contrast, like as much as, rather than, or although, or a causal relationship between two pieces of information, like because or in order to. So conjunctions show us the relationships between pieces of information. And when it comes to parataxis, what's important to think about is that a writer uses coordinating conjunctions when they want to signal equal relationships, that two pieces of information matter just as much as each other. They use subordinating conjunctions when they want to signal unequal relationships, or to show that one piece of information matters more than another. This feels like it's being written by a fourth grader because it uses only coordinating conjunctions. So we have no idea which pieces of information matter and which ones matter less. This is sort of that saying, if everybody's special, then no one is. Well, if all the pieces of information matter, then also kind of none of them do. It's hard to make sense of what's really going on when we only have coordinating conjunctions. And especially because it's and, which is undoubtedly the laziest conjunction because it gives us no information about the relationship between these pieces of information. It tells us they're connected, but tells us absolutely nothing more than that. And that's what this writer means when she says that life feels like it's being written by a fourth grader. If you've ever heard a kid summarize a movie for you, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We could revise this tweet so that it goes something like this. A new virus came that made everyone very scared. Because they were afraid, some people bought all of the toilet paper, which caused a shortage. Districts canceled school in order to protect students and teachers. This sentence uses a whole bunch of subordinating conjunctions and even one prepositional phrase in order to tell us which pieces of information matter and which ones don't, and even to show us which things caused other things. This tweet makes a lot more sense, unlike this one. It's a funny joke, and when I read it, it was fun to know that I knew grammatically what this writer meant when they said that life felt like it was being written by a fourth grader. She's talking about parataxis, that everything seems equally important and unimportant. Interestingly enough, famous writers like Tim O'Brien and Ernest Hemingway used parataxis as a literary technique to convey the experiences of soldiers during war. By writing paratactically, they showed that these soldiers didn't know how to make sense of the world around them. They felt shocked and confused and disoriented by their experiences during the war. They didn't know what mattered and what didn't. They didn't know why some people died and other people survived. They had trouble understanding the world around them. And that is when it hit me, the oh shit moment. Because that was when I realized that when the writer says that life feels like it's being written by a fourth grader, what she means is that we as a society right now are having trouble deciding what information matters, pinpointing cause and effect relationships, or even defining the relationships between events at all. We're having trouble understanding what's happening to us as a society right now. And we're having trouble figuring out how to talk about that because of that. And in a democracy, if we don't know how to talk about something, we don't know how to act about it either. And in the case of a global pandemic, that is no joke.